So when I was planning the garage, I wanted to build a new wall that separated out the garden, split the garden into two, or the backyard, and incorporate the other side of the wall was going to be the garage, the extension to the garage. But this side was going to be needed to be attractive, because this is going to be our outdoor living space, turning a backyard which wasn't very attractive into a smaller space but a more attractive space. So it was important that the garage doors were more than just functional, but that they actually had a really nice outlook. So I went for the idea of wider double doors, because that looks probably more attractive than a big brick wall that might be a bit austere. So you end up with a nice proportion. You've got a bit of brick wall, a nice double door, and then a bit of brick wall that breaks it all up. So I saw this picture online of this pair of stable doors. It's pretty unusual to see a pair of stable doors, and so I thought, they're nice, but they were very, very expensive, bespoke made, so I'd have to get a joinery company to build me a pair of these to exact spec. So it was an option, but I went to see what I could actually buy that was similar in status and, well, sizes, etc. And I found this pair of doors, which are engineered doors, that I could buy for about £300. And I thought, yep, okay, so we've got similar glazing and we've got a similar panelling underneath. So if I buy two pairs of these doors, then that might work. Now, the doors don't rebate together, so these I'm sure are made so that they're rebated. So there's an L shape here, and one door fits inside another door at the front and here. So these doors, because they're meant to be just a single door, they just flush. So I'd have to actually put some sort of a batten down one side so that they would close against one another. So that was something I knew that I was going to have to modify. But yeah, so this was my inspiration for the doors. And then I mocked up this idea. I found a frame, a hardwood frame that I could buy that was exactly the right size for the doors, and then it was this hardwood frame that we bought first and we actually put into the wall, and we bolted it into the floor once the foundations were done, and so we could build our brick wall up to it. And the brick wall had we had little metal binders that were screwed onto here and stuck in at various courses, so that this frame was very well secured into the brick wall as we built it. And then we put a lintel up over the door, a metal lintel. So that theoretically would all fit. And this is just some drawings that I got just to check how the door was going to fit into the frame. How many courses of bricks that the frame would be, and how many courses above the frame. So this all had to be worked out, and we did it. You can see we used this bond. It's called English Garden Wall Bond. This is the bond that we used in the bricklaying, and I was just trying to work out which sort of courses we'd get. Ideally, you'd have had a row of headers along the top here, but you couldn't, because you'd have a metal lintel. So although it might look nice to have a row of headers, it was actually the wrong one that we wanted. We wanted a row of stretchers, because the metal lintel would go down the back of them. The way that the floor was going to work, we're going to have a couple of layers of brick on the foundations, some damp-proof membrane, and then we'd have the hardwood threshold, and then the concrete floor was obviously to this level, but then we've put damp-proof membrane, we've put some insulation and some The idea is we're going to put insulation on the floor, and then we're going to put what's it called, OSB board on top of the insulation, so the inside will be effectively flush to the top of the threshold, so the internal transition will be pretty much flat. And then the outside transition, we're going to get a drainage channel, because I don't want to have such a step up. I want this to be fairly flush with the actual patio. But if you have the patio coming up to here, then the rain would bounce and the rain would land on here, and this would be constantly wet. So what I've got is a drainage U-channel. The plan is to put a drainage U-channel there, under there, so that any water, rain or anything coming on here will actually, it'll go down, most of it will go down into the channel, won't be able to bounce back up. Any water on here will drip into here. So I've changed my view. When I did this drawing it was going to be here, but actually I've moved it so it's actually under the threshold. So there is this little bit of a lip, and then this is the ground level on the outside. Got a the door here, so we've got two stable doors, and they're engineered doors, so underneath this veneer there's actually particle board, so they're not solid oak, but that gives us it means they're a bit lighter, and they're much more affordable. So that's what we've gone with. So because they're not solid hardwood, we need to really prepare them well and paint them well. So these have had a light sanding, and then they've had some wood preservative painted on them yesterday. So that's raised the grain, and we've got lots of what they call nibs. And so what we're doing now is sanding them again, and then they're going to get undercoat or primer, and then they're going to get sanded again, and then they're going to get either another coat of undercoat or top coat, haven't decided yet. We're ready for paint. Ready for paint. Okay, so this is the top of the stable door after primer. So this needs sanding now. Right, well, you really could go on forever with these, but I've got to keep reminding myself it's a shed. So, yeah, that's ready for glazing on the top coat, I think. Hello. So the garden doors are nearly done. So still picking bits of masking tape off and sanding. It's actually raining today. It's been hung. Didn't get that videoed. Put a bit of profile on here so that any water coming down won't go into the gap between the doors and sit on the top of the door and rot it. So there's going to be there's a drip here and it will drip down. And then we put weatherboard on as well. So the doors are stable doors. We can undo the bolt and separate them. So in theory, I could sit here and chew the cud. I don't quite know why I would do that. Maybe if we When we have the dog, we could shut the dog up here, so it wouldn't be in the garden, or vice versa. So the dog won't be able to get into the garage. But 99% of the time, it's going to be bolted together and operate like one door. Cut these off at an angle of 45 degrees, so that the doors will actually open more than 90. They get to about there. And this one's bolted, top and bottom. And we get to about there. So, bye.